Hello students, I'm teacher Daamba Moses Daamba of Namgongo Secondary and Vocational School. Today we are going to study Geography Paper 1, that is Advanced Level Geography Paper 1. And in our first lesson, we are going to look at first 5 simple ways of describing relief. And for today, we are going to begin our lesson with the definition or the meaning of the word relief. Relief refers to the nature of landscape, okay? And the nature of landscape changes by differences in height. And therefore, a relief can be an upland and it can be a lowland, okay? So, we are going to begin looking at the first simple ways of describing relief, which has always been hard to students. Students have always gambled with the way to describe relief, but today we are going to make it easy. And in the first place, we are going to look at the vertical interval. What do we mean by the word vertical interval? The word vertical interval means the distance between 2 adjacent contours. Maybe somebody would want to know what a contour is. Okay? So, a contour is a line on a map that shows places of the same height. Therefore, it is these contours that we use in describing relief. We are going to look at the vertical interval. How do you calculate the vertical interval? And by the end of the day, when you give us the vertical interval, you will have described relief. We say it is the distance between 2 close contours. For example, if we had on our map extract, and of course this is the spot height, and this is maybe contour 60, and this is contour 50. So for you to describe the relief, and by giving us the vertical interval, you only subtract 60 from 50. Okay? And therefore this one will give us 10. And it is not just 10. Most of these maps are in either feet or meters. So if it is in feet, you write here in full feet. And therefore, in your answers you will say the vertical interval of maybe Namgongo map extract is 10 feet. So here we are going to give you a tick. You have described relief. Then the second way of describing relief, the second method of describing relief is by calculating the amplitude. What do we mean by amplitude? Amplitude refers to the range between the highest contour and the lowest contour on a specific map extract. So, we are saying the second way of describing relief is by calculating the amplitude. Okay? And we said you get the highest contour minus the lowest contour. So, let's assume on our map the highest contour is 60 and the lowest is 50. So you subtract and get 10 feet. If the map is recorded in feet, you write feet. Don't write FT. This is wrong. We write feet in full. So you'll also write a statement and say the amplitude in your answer. Amplitude of Namugongo. Map extract is 10 feet. And by doing this, you will have described relief. Are we together? So, describing of relief should not be a problem to you. You have to take the steps as we are doing here. Therefore, we are going to look at the third way of describing relief. The third simple way of describing relief. Okay? And this is done by calculating the average height. The third way is by calculating the average height. And this is given by this formula. There's a formula, okay, which we use. And this is the highest contour plus lowest contour divided by 2. Okay, we are calculating the average height, and by calculating the average height, you will have described relief. So let's assume our highest contour was 60. We add the lowest contour of 50, and then divide it by 2. This one will give us 110. When we divide this by 2, it gives us 55 feet. And by doing this, you will have described the relief simply. Okay? And then the fourth way of describing relief is by giving us the hills you are seeing on the map, describing the hills on the map. What is a hill? A hill is an upland. It may be relatively low, or a hill is supposed to be relatively low. Yet a mountain is supposed to be higher. It's supposed to be elevated than a hill. So a mountain is higher than a hill. Okay. Therefore, you give us, if you are seeing any hills on the map, you give them. Okay. And therefore, you can talk about the Conical Hills. The first type of hill, which may be on the map. It may be there, it may not be there. So the first type is a conical hill. Okay. The second one may be a flat-topped hill. Flat-topped hill. Okay. How do you know that your map extract has a conical hill? On a map extract, conical hills are indicated by compacted contours. If an area on the map has compacted contours, then we are going to assume that area. We are not going to assume, we are going to take it that area has a conical hill. So, for example, the contours might be like this, compacted on a map. This will show us that this map has a conical hill. And maybe the spot height might be at 5,000 feet. Okay? A spot height. Or it may not be a spot height, it may be a secondary trigonometrical station. Or primary trigonometrical station. So higher points on the map are identified by a spot height. This is one. They can also be identified by a secondary trigonometrical station. They can also be identified by a primary trigonometrical station. So, when you identify that your map has a conical hill, you tell us, you write a statement. You write a statement. Namugongo map extract in full here has a conical hill. Conical hill at you give us the local name. Local name here. So in the area of the local name, you can say Namugongo map extract has a conical hill at Janda. Namugongo map extract has a conical hill at Chira. Then, if it has a flat-topped hill, flat-topped hills are given by contours which are spaced. They are given by contours which are spaced. Okay? Flat-topped hills are uplands, but they are indicated by spaced contours, relatively spaced contours. As here, as you can see here, the contours will be spaced. They will be spaced like this. So, if this was the spot height, maybe this is 200 feet. This is 180. I'm giving a vertical interval of 20, and then this is 60. So the vertical interval here is on this is 20 feet. Okay. So when you see contours spaced like this, it will indicate that we have a flat-topped hill. Therefore, you write in a statement, Namugongo map extract. Namugongo map extract. Extract has a flat-topped hill. Hill at maybe in Sasa. You give the local name, Sasa. If you don't give the local name, you may miss a mark. Therefore, describing of relief should not be a problem to you. That's why we are looking at these simple ways of describing relief. And therefore, if you describe relief well, it will be easy for you to get the marks, and then you pass your level, you score higher grades, and then go to the university. You can also describe the relief by giving a ridge. You can give us a ridge. Look for ridges. Look for ridges. Okay? If you look for ridges on the map, you will have described the relief. And what is a ridge? A ridge is a narrow and an elongated hill. It is a narrow and an elongated hill. And on this ridge, this one ridge can have several hills. Okay? One ridge. We said a ridge is a narrow and an elongated hill. Can be an upland. Okay? And therefore we are saying it can have several hills. It can have several hills. It can have several saddles. It can have several calls. It can have passes. Okay, passes. Just one ridge. Because we said it is narrow and elongated. Therefore, let's look at one of the ridges we have around Namugongo. This is Nsasa Ridge, Nsasa Chira Ridge. When you look at it, you'll find that it has around three hills. Okay? You will have around 3 hills. This is what we call a ridge. Narrow and elongated or extensive. It may, the other word for elongated, it could be extensive. Okay? So So now this one could be Chira. Chira, hill. Then this one could be Nsasa. Nsasa, hill. This one could be Nabusugwe. Nabusugwe, hill. So the space here is a saddle. We have a saddle. Okay? We have another saddle here. Okay? But we say a ridge could also have calls. Let's have a ridge having a call and a pass. Okay? This one is going to have a call and a pass. It is a narrow ridge. And it is going to have a call. Okay? It's going to have this pass. Okay? So at this point, we have what we call a pass. And here we have a call. Okay? So, when you identify that on your map extract, you have this narrow, elongated feature, you now tell us that, you write a statement in your answers, that Namugongo map extract has a ridge. Okay, a ridge called, you give us the local names which are identified in the word, called Chira, Nsasa, Nabusugwe ridge. Okay? And by doing that, you will have identified and described relief. And therefore, this should not be hard. Are we together? Okay. So, in the next lesson, we are going to look at other 5 ways. We've looked at first 5 ways, and in the next lesson we are also going to look at other 5 ways of describing relief. We've not exhausted them. Therefore, as students, you can follow us on our YouTube channel and then get all this information. Thank you very much.